welcome to Somehow I Dad. Thank you so much for. No, I can't do it like that, dude. We can't do it like that. What do you usually say? Give me like your script, bro.
I usually just say, hello. We're back with episode 6 of My Dad, the podcast about dad life.
Got it. All right. Hello, everybody. We are back with Somehow I Dad, a podcast about dad life. Thank you for joining us for episode 6. Today we got Tyler hailing from Alabama.
Heyo.
And Garrett from Chicago.
Yodeling.
And Mr. TJ from Seattle.
What's going on, everybody?
Who are you?
And I'm Gordo. Someone's supposed to pick that up for me. Jeez, boys. I thought I was getting an intro. Unbelievable.
We've got a great episode in store for you guys. Let's get into it. What's happened since our last Dadcast? Anybody got any stories about their kids or families they want to share?
Yeah, so Aspen just turned 3. We had her birthday party. She had an absolute blast. We kind of forgot about it. Not necessarily forgot about it, but kind of put it to the back burner and left it there because Oakley was born on the 7th and her birthday is on the 20th. So it's right there together, and we hadn't got any presents yet. We hadn't booked a place or planned a party yet because we're all like stressed out about the baby. So we kind of put a birthday party together. Like I texted you guys in the group chat like 4 or 5 days before. So we went to Burger King, played the play place. That's all we did. We bought her gifts. So I was kind of worried we didn't get her enough, but we got her enough. Grandparents, everything. It was awesome. And then when we get home, we're good. Next day she wakes up and we give her like this little cupcake and we decorate the whole kitchen for her because it's the day of her birthday. And then that night she's sitting in the bathtub and she starts singing happy birthday to herself. She's happy birthday, dear Abby. Like she's singing to herself in the tub, and then she'll call you. Like we'll leave her in there and let her play, and she'll call us in there and she'll like, Daddy, and call me in there. And I'll come in there and she said, sing happy birthday to me. Like on demand. She wants it.
That's amazing.
I thought that was hilarious. And then she she came up with a new saying this week. So it's she calls parks tree parking lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see
I
how
like that, dude.
Yeah. She said,
They are
Daddy,
tree parking lots.
I want to go to the tree parking lot. I said, what? She said, the place where all the trees are parked, like they're standing up. I said, what are you talking about? She said, where we go play. I said, you talking about the park? And she said, yeah. I was like, oh my God.
Parking lot.
Like everybody should know that.
Yeah.
I love it when kids come up with stuff. Luke once called boogers in your nose. He was like, "That I need a tissue for my nose poop," and I'm like, "What?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "It's up here," and I'm like, "That's a booger, but nose poop, I guess." Like, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
Oh.
That's funny. Gordo, how was Evie's birthday party? I know that was a little bit ago.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was definitely good. We went overboard on it though. We were like, and we didn't really realize it till after we bought everything and set it up, and like 10 minutes into when the party started, we're like, yeah, we really didn't need to do all this. So it was really good. We just definitely spent too much money on it. But no, man, we definitely got a lot of stuff, and she's super happy. We made a little playroom in the house, and she loves going in there, and we're actually it's super exciting. She walked for the first time this week. So yeah, she knows how to walk, and she's done it. Like she'll hold your hand and walk next to you and stuff, but she was like playing against the back glass and like smacking the back window, and then she turned around and just walked to like the coffee table, and Riss and I were like, what the heck? And then she looked at us and she starts clapping her hands, and we're like clapping our hands. So she starts yelling. She gets so hyped up. She loves to get a reaction out of me. She loves to get a reaction out of Riss too, but like we're definitely in that daddy-daughter bonding time now, and it's pretty cool. And
that's great.
She yells, "Daddy!" And it's just like, oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever.
That's awesome.
So
Nice.
Yeah, man.
It's winter break or midwinter break for the kids. So the oldest two are home, which is both nice because it means that all four of the kids are playing together. But it also means my house is in infinite chaos at all times. So that can be a little stressful. And we all got sick in like the last week. So that was exhausting. But other than that, I mean, it's good. I like having time with the kids. Even though they can be overwhelming at times, it's really nice to just like sit down on the couch and have like three kids just mob you and just want to sit with you.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And then they start getting rowdy and then they like hit me in the face by accident. And I'm like, hey, go play. Go build Legos somewhere.
Yeah.
Garrett Bear, are you starting to feel that baby feeling close?
Dude, it is the weirdest feeling in the world. Because we're like, we were just talking about it today. Like the longest we have is 2 months, but after like a month, it could just be any time. So it is a weird feeling, man. It's like, I think the nerves are kind of starting to sit in a little bit more day by day. Like for the longest time, and even now, it's just like, man, we are so pumped and so ready to meet this little guy. And then every once in a while, it's just like, oh my god, like this is insane. Like we are actually having a baby. Like I am it's just like I am way too young to have a baby because I still feel like I'm 18. You know, I still feel like I'm like just out of high school. So it's just it's a strange feeling, but man, we're so excited. Yeah. I'll kind of give a recap on kind of what's been going on in my life. Past few weeks, it was a few weeks ago, but I had texted you guys like it was a rough week for me. We had it's just one of those weeks where you just like nothing seems to go your way. Work was pretty busy, and we were at the time looking to buy a new car because my car is a little bit smaller. It doesn't have enough room for our stroller to fit into it. So like we gotta find something that's a little bit bigger that'll kind of fit what our family is going to be adapting to. So I'm like trying to find a new car. I found one I was going to go find. I was like, great, my car is in really good shape. I haven't been in any accidents. 3 days before I go buy this car, I got into a car accident. And got some damage on my car. So that was great. Also, a few days after that, so I think this was like the day before we were going to get the car. So I think I got in a car accident on Tuesday, and then like Thursday or Friday, we were on our way to a birthing class, and we're like leaving a restaurant to go to this class, and I get a notification on my phone, and it's like from Cash App, and it's like, you have spent $76 at Taco Bell. And I was like, no, I didn't. That's an absurd amount of money to spend at Taco Bell. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Don't be judgy.
As I'm like processing this, I get another notification from Cash App. You have spent $46 at Taco Bell. And then another one. You have spent $65 at Taco Bell. And then another one. You have spent $43 at Taco Bell. I was like, oh my god, what is happening? So my Cash App, my Cash App account didn't get hacked. Long story short, somebody hacked my Taco Bell account, which my Cash App card was linked to, and they bought a ton of Taco Bell, about $400 worth of Taco Bell at a bunch of different Taco Bells across the U.S. And I had to dispute all the charges. I called Cash App because I first thought my Cash App card got hacked, but it wasn't my Cash App card. It was the Taco Bell app. Cash App was no help. They were like, basically, we can't help you. You have to contact Taco Bell. So I had to call all these different Taco Bells and cancel these enormous orders. And this guy goes into the app. He changes my name on my app from Garrett Brock to David Williams. I'm calling you out, David. But he doesn't change my password. So he doesn't change my password. So I immediately unlinked my Cash App card and changed my name back, and then changed my password, which logged him out. And had to dispute all that. So man, it was one of those weeks where it was like, when it rains, it pours. And like, dude, like, what the hell? Get your own damn Taco Bell, David Williams. Get out of my life.
Do never trust a man with 2 first names.
Dude, it was
unbelievable.
It was a week, but hey, in the end, it all worked out. We went to the dealership. I actually got as much money as I was hoping for my car, even with the damages on. So, it all worked out, and we were thankfully able to upgrade my car and walk out of there without a car payment. So, man, that's all I can ask for. So
that's me raising my hand. Hey,
yeah. You have a question, Gordo?
Did you get your money back?
I did get my money back. Yes.
Also, let me know where those Taco Bells were so I could find David Williams.
Dude, there was like some in LA. There was some in Texas.
What?
Like it was literally like it was a different location each order.
So what was his play here? Like if
he wanted to watch the world burn. Like he wasn't going to receive any Taco Bell.
And then he puts his name in your app and says, "Remember my name." Like there's no logic behind that. He didn't get your money.
No.
He didn't get your food. All you know is that this guy is just pure evil, dude.
He's pure evil.
Wow. This is not even a prank that I would pull off. Like there's no.
Like, at least if you're going to do something, like, at least do something where you're going to get something out of it. I don't know. Like, that's
dude, I want the Taco Bell if I'm going to hack your app, dude.
Which is really
it's
funny.
It's going to be my Taco Bell that's 5 minutes from my house, and I'm going to get some tacos.
Dude, it might be Tyler. He just pulled up the Taco Bell app and was ordering something.
I did.
Dude, it was...
His
so
password is FuzzyBear69. So.
Shut up.
Unbelievable. Shut up.
But what's funny is like so when I was on a work site a few months ago, I was in charge of ordering food for everybody for like the week we were there. And I tried placing an order at a Taco Bell for like 20 people. And this order was $350. And Taco Bell, it was through DoorDash, and Taco Bell declined the order, which I didn't know it was possible. Because I would imagine whoever was receiving the order in the front of house looked at that receipt and said, "If we fulfill this, I quit. I'm not making 40 burritos." Like, so.
How long it would take them, dude?
So David Williams knew the system ahead of time because he knew that he couldn't place a huge order of $350. He had to disperse it between $70 and $60 and $40. So this guy's smart.
And at the same point, he's not just stressing you out; he's stressing out each one of these Taco Bells too.
Yeah.
So
those poor employees. Yeah.
I can't. Usually, I can solve like this really quickly. This guy's got me stumped, dude. We're gonna have to bring in David Politis for missing 411 here to figure out this case. I'm telling you.
So when you traded your car in, did you get it fixed before?
Oh no, not
absolutely not, dude.
I mean, I know a good repairman in Ohio if you need one.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Is it Flipsky, dude?
Flipsky.
Oh god.
Also,
how many
guaranteed work
do you want it to look like it's been in? 2 or 3?
Guaranteed work done by Sunday.
Oh my god.
Done by Sunday every time.
But I would say you said never trust a person with 2 first names. Mr. Garrett is in that boat.
No. Who do you know that has the last name? Who do you know that has the last name Garrett?
No, he said 2
first names.
Oh,
and Miles Garrett has the last name Garrett. Thank you very much.
That is true.
Oh, dang! Wow, that was quick.
All right, well, guess I'm canceled.
Wow, that was solved. Well, no, I trust Garrett. Because I only know one Brock, and he was a trainer back in the 90s or so.
That makes sense.
Pokemon trainer.
He was a trainer.
Nice. I thought you were serious.
I was waiting for like a bodybuilder, like an MMA trainer.
I mean, everybody knows Brock Lesnar, but like, I mean,
not Pokemon Red.
to just slip Pokemon underneath there real quick at the end was great.
Yeah, Brock teaches my Zumba class.
Oh, that was well done. Wow.
Well, hey, if you have any questions about dad life, parenting, married life, or just general questions about Gordo's latest Civic modifications, please follow us and message us on Instagram, comment on YouTube at SomehowIDad, or email us at somehowidad@gmail.com. We actually did get an email question this week.
Wait a second. I have to say something. I just love that you take like 25 ADHD text messages that I take during the week and sum it up with a joke every single week, dude. It's hilarious. But anyways, carry on.
This week's question is actually brought in part to us by the one and only Sir Tony Giddens.
God.
He wrote in and said, what is the greatest Christmas present that you've ever received as a kid? And would you get it for your kids?
Oh, I got this one. I got it. I know exactly the first one that came to mind. My Platinum Silver limited edition Nintendo GameCube was the greatest thing I ever got for Christmas. And my parents went and got the little dock on the bottom that I could play my Game Boy games in it. And that was the best gift I ever got. And I have played it with my oldest son because I still have Super Smash Bros. And Star Wars Clone Wars and one of like the Star Fox games. I do.
That's awesome.
And my two wireless controllers that still work.
That's
GameCube
awesome.
had wireless controllers?
Yeah, they were called the Wavebird.
Dude.
You got Super Mario Sunshine?
No.
Oh my gosh, dude. This is a hot take, but Super Mario Sunshine was the greatest Mario game known to man, dude.
Even better than Galaxy?
That's a hot take.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I'm really waiting for a Nintendo Switch remake. Honestly. It was really good.
Smash Brothers Melee is like the greatest thing.
Never.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like the Saturday mornings at friends' houses. We'd all meet up and play splits, or all four of us playing Smash Bros. That's mine. That was my best Christmas present, and I still remember it. I also might remember it because I snuck into my parents' room to see what they got me before Christmas. I found it on the floor in their closet, and the joy that was there that I couldn't share because it was like 2 weeks before Christmas was brutal.
Yeah. I'd say my favorite Christmas present I ever got, or at least my most memorable one, probably because I got traumatized heavily, was one year it was the year that I had gotten Guitar Hero. And I really wanted it, and my uncle had gotten it for me, but he loved to prank me every year and would get me a present that he knew I would hate. And so, everyone's opening presents, gets to me. I have the last present, and I get this really big box, and I go to open it, and I'm so excited because I'm like, it's Guitar Hero. Like, this is the only thing I asked for. And I rip open the wrapping paper, and it was a Roomba. And I was in I was in like 4th grade at the time, I think.
Nice.
And I get a
Someone
Roomba.
bought you a Roomba?
And I remember sitting there. Tears came out of my eyes just involuntarily. But I just remember sitting there being like, thank you so much. Like, I'm really happy for this Roomba. But internally was just like devastated. And he kind of lets it sit for he let it sit for probably 20 or 30 minutes. Like, we went on to do something else. And then finally he comes out and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, here's your actual present. And then gave me Guitar Hero. And I cried again. Was very excited and very happy.
That is a solid uncle move, though.
Yeah, he did that all the time. And as I got older, I began to expect it. But that was like the first year that he really got me. So that was my favorite Christmas present I think I ever got, and I would definitely give that to my kids.
A Roomba?
A Roomba, yes. I'll pick up after them.
Nice. Keep the rooms clean.
We do have a Roomba now. Shout out DJ Roomba.
Thank you, Roomba.
I definitely played Super Mario Sunshine. Sorry, I was stuck on that. I remember that. I definitely played it. That was a good one.
Yeah, dude, the jetpack. It would like you.
The jetpack was money. I had to see the cover art of the game to be like, oh,
dude, it was so good. We would have still had our GameCube. Like my brother Andrew, he has everything. He's just like the walking like photo album, and he we kind of gave him all of our game systems and said just keep these safe. And Zach got the N64, and then there's a whole story behind that, but it went missing. And he might have bought another one. So we have some of our stuff, but Drew's got like all of our old 360s and everything. We gave our GameCube away, and it's a huge bummer because now they're pretty expensive.
They are really expensive.
Hey, you can buy a Wii and just play your GameCube games on that.
Drew and Eden are just playing games every night.
It's the same.
It's not the same.
Speaking of Wii, did you see that they're making Warzone available for Nintendo Switch?
What?
And all the memes coming about people play Warzone with like Wii controllers. It's pretty funny.
I don't think Nintendo kids can handle Call of Duty.
No, not at all.
If your parents bought you that, it's because they didn't want you to play multiplayer.
Tyler, what were you going to say before I said that?
I'm going to call out Mr. Tony Giddens because I asked for the same gift probably for 10 years and I never got it. I asked for, or there's two gifts. I asked for a PlayStation 2. I asked for a PlayStation 3. Those are the only two things that I asked for. That's all I ever wanted. I never got that. But I did receive some great Christmas gifts, so I'm not going to completely drag him on the podcast. When I was around probably 7, 8, I received it was Santa Claus got it. My dad didn't get it, so he can't take the credit. It was this this big castle like thing, and you could put it together and take it apart and like expand it. And the blocks were probably like a 12 by 12. Like they were pretty big blocks. You could like create your own castle and build your own windows and stuff. And as a 7-year-old, I was on cloud 9. Like that was incredible. Like I loved it. And then my second favorite gift would have to be like, I got this, the arcade style basketball machines, like in Chuck E. Cheese or Dave & Buster's. Yeah, I got one of those, but like it's for your home. And it's got the little vinyl thing that shoots the ball back towards you. Like it's obviously not a big metal machine, but I got one of those and I played with that thing forever. I loved it. Those are my two favorite gifts.
Yeah. That's cool.
Still never got a PS2. Thanks, Dad.
I don't know if Tony, if you're listening, I don't know if Tyler told you, but I definitely had a dream about you this past week. I don't know why or what was going on, but all I remember was walking into a gas station, and this guy walks past me. We like kind of stare at each other for a second and keep on walking. And I turned around. I was like, "Tony, is that you?" And you're like, "Yep, I'm here to see you." And then I woke up from my dream. I don't know what.
Yep, I'm here to see you.
So Tony, shout out to you. You're making big waves on this podcast. What about you? What was your favorite Christmas present as a kid?
Oh my God. Dude, I don't know. I honestly I can't really remember much that I got that I was super stoked about. It was always a bunch of little things. I love collecting cards and Beyblades and different things like that and action figures. And probably one of my favorite though to date was a pinball machine. That was I was super stoked about a pinball machine. It wasn't it wasn't the greatest pinball machine ever, but it was I just remember it being so much fun.
That's pretty
probably,
sweet.
Yeah, that's probably it. But honestly, my favorite gift ever, I think it was technically my birthday, was a Game Boy Color. I remember my dad took me to this little place called Family Toy Warehouse in a thunderstorm, and it was lime green, and I was super stoked, and I was just oh my God, I can't believe, because it was the thing back then. I was I can't believe my dad could get this for me, I was just a little kid. I was so excited, and to this day, I just remember thinking my dad was like the coolest thing when he was getting me this little Nintendo Game
Heck
Boy.
yeah.
But
I still have my Game Boy Color.
really, oh
Yep.
man,
I had
I
the
honestly don't know what happened
transparent
to mine.
purple,
Nice.
and my
I think
kids
I
play
had
with it now.
That's sweet, dude. The oldest I have is the Game Boy SP, which is also lime green.
Mm. So I got in trouble when I got my SP because it was my parents being good humans and looking out for kids who are dumb. But for Christmas, ironically, I got these packs of limited edition, the Fast and the Furious Hot Wheels.
Mm.
And I had like the freaking Skyline. I had all like the cars from the movie just in little Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
And some kid wanted them so bad he traded me his Game Boy Advance SP for like 5 Hot Wheels.
Oh my gosh. That's
And
awesome, dude.
at the
Talk about a
time,
come
I'm
up.
like, I didn't think about it. Like, I wasn't trying to fleece the kid. But I like a couple days later, my mom sees me and she's like, "Where'd you get that?" And I was like, "Oh, I traded some of my Hot Wheels for it." And that was the end. That was the end of it.
Did you have to give it back?
I did, and I got my cars back, and he was just as mad that he lost the cars.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was a weird. I think about it every once in a while where I'm like, I should have just kept it.
Yeah, dude.
We should have traded it back and not let the parents see it.
You should maybe get back in touch with him and see if he still has it.
Well, that was the thing, because on my Color, I had to have like the little freaking light that plugged into the side so you could play it in the dark.
Oh yeah,
dude. The SP had the light up screen, and that was the freaking bee's knees.
Oh yeah, dude. I remember specifically getting the SP and being like, dude, I cannot wait till it's dark tonight so I can play this thing. Like, it was just awesome, because even when you had the little clip-on light, it was just a glare. You had to hold it sideways so you could even see anything.
I remember playing mine in bed and having to put the covers over me so that you could see. If you're playing in the middle of the day, you've got to have a blanket over the top of your head so that you can see what you're
Good luck
playing
it in the back of a car on a road trip.
Oh yeah.
You take that one turn on the freeway and you're like, I can't see anything.
Like nothing.
Attention parents, are you tired of struggling to get your kids to help out with chores around the house? Look no further than the Extreme Chores, the motion-controlled video game that makes cleaning fun and exciting for the whole family. Are you tired of boring old chores? Ditch the mop and bucket and get your adrenaline pumping with Extreme Chores! From washing windows to scrubbing toilets, this game will put you to the test. With each level, the tasks get more difficult and the obstacles get tougher. With Extreme Chores, your children will have a blast racing against the clock to complete challenging cleaning tasks. The snap-on tools make each job feel like the real thing, and with the wireless controllers, you're free to push it to the limit. Some household chores included with the base game are raking, collect, pile, and bag before the heavy winds pick up, sort elm, maple, and oak leaves in the intense bonus level. Dishes. Use the frying pan adapter to wash and dry growing piles of cookware, flatware, and glasses from Thanksgiving dinner. Yard work. Dig shrub holes, move piles of rock, and spread red cedar mulch with the included spade attachment. And our favorite, the litter box. Keep up with those kittens as you scoop and sift the clumpable litter in an intense race that pits you against odor. The game's motion-controlled remote is easy for kids to use and encourages them to get up and moving, which means they'll be burning off energy while also learning valuable life skills. Plus, this game's colorful graphics and catchy soundtrack will keep your little ones entertained for hours on end. Let's hear some reviews from our valued customers. Mark Ewig on Amazon said, "Our daughter has been asking for an allowance. For this birthday, we decided to give her one as long as she did some household chores. This was the perfect gift for it. Wrapped up the box and told her she was getting chores for her birthday, and she chucked the box and cried." Amber Youngblood on Amazon said, "My 4-year-old just opened this for Christmas and he was so upset." Thanks, Mark and Amber. We appreciate you too. So what are you waiting for? Get up off the couch and start your extreme cleaning adventure today. Extreme Chores is available now on all major gaming platforms. Today's topic we're going to talk about this week is how to balance your marriage, your kids, and your career. In today's world, everything is pulling your attention in 1,000 different ways at all times of the day. So how do you guys balance your marriage, your kids, and your career?
I will say that I've been married. It's 10 years this year, and it is
Congrats.
still a learning process. Like, there are times, there will be like months that we nail it, and there will be months that we just absolutely suck. Yeah, I would say, thinking through it, it's all about being intentional, but at the same time, sometimes life does get in the way, and there's nothing you can do about it. Work gets busy, but having intentional set aside time for date night with the wife and maybe one-on-one time with your kids. And I struggle with that more with 4 kids because, as I'll say, as a dad, taking out all 4 kids at once is daunting. Like, I'm just mildly terrified. But having over the summer, I took all 4 kids to the park, but then in the fall, it was like hey, AJ, come, let's go to the store. Mom needs me to pick some stuff up. You're just going to roll with daddy, and it'll be a daddy-daughter date. Mm-hmm. Or, Luke, we're going to Lowe's or the hardware store, and you're just going to come with me. I know all I need to do is grab freaking weed whacker twine and some 2-stroke oil. But we're going to do it. I know I'm going to spend 10 times longer at Lowe's because you're going to ask me what everything is, but that's part of the experience. And that's setting aside that time. And then same thing with the wife is there are nights where I'm like, hey, we're going to sit on the couch. We're going to watch a movie, or we're going to start a series that we've been talking about. And it doesn't have to be fancy date night. It just has to be knowing your partner's love language. And my wife is 100% quality time.
Yeah.
Which is hard for me because I'm not a quality time person at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird because in that's like how you see or how you show love versus how you feel love. Like, I'm a physical touch person, top on both. And then I show love through acts of service and gifts. And I feel love through like words of affirmation. So quality time doesn't even sit there at all.
Yeah.
But my wife is a quality time person. But over the course of our marriage, quality time, I've discovered, is not like sit and hold hands and stare deeply into each other's eyes. It's sitting on the couch watching a movie together, or even doing chores. Like, I go into the kitchen, I help her with the dishes, put food away. Just like doing life together is what she craves or what she needs to feel love. And there are times I succeed at that, and there are times that I really fail at that, and I get into like I'm playing Xbox, or I'm going to be in the studio recording guitar stuff. Yeah. And because I don't feel the need for quality time, I forget how important it is to her. Yeah. Because I'm recharged. I gave her a hug. I squeezed her butt. I'm good for the day. I feel loved. Everything is great.
Yeah.
But it's really knowing what your partner needs. And as your kids get older, you'll start to see what their love language is.
Yeah.
Like in my oldest too, I definitely know Luke is the words of affirmation. That is a great Lego set. You did such a good job building that. And the quality time side on him. Let me sit down, help you with that Lego set. Let's watch this YouTube together of somebody playing Minecraft. Like stuff like that. Where that's the balance. And work, I have a fake job, so I don't have to work on balance on that at all.
I think that's really huge. I love the love language thing because I think it's so so key into every relationship. And it's funny, I haven't really even thought about it about having that my kids are gonna have a love language someday. Like I know Kate and I obviously do, but our languages are the exact opposite. Kind of like you said, like I'm physical touch. It was my number one, and my last one was quality time, and her number one was quality time, and her last one was physical touch. So, like we just constantly have to be aware of that and working at that. But I think even knowing what your kids' love language is huge as well, because it helps you communicate with them more effectively and helps you take advantage of some of that like time that you might not have is communicating effectively. For those listening, if you haven't taken the love language test, if you just go to take a quick Google search and type in love language test, it's probably the first one that pops up. It's 5lovelanguages.com, and see what kind of I would recommend that you take the test, that your spouse takes the test, and if you even want to get into so intricate of having your kids take the test, I think there's even a kids test as well, that isn't like the exact test that the adults take. That'll help you kind of figure out how to give love and receive love to those around you best.
That was, of all the premarital counseling thing that we did, was the biggest thing, because I had never thought about the difference between how you show love and how you feel loved, because I always thought they'd be the same, but they can be very different.
Very different.
Like if people give me gifts, I feel so uncomfortable. Like I hate gifts. I really do.
Me too.
And words of affirmation, I'm one of those people that I need to hear it, but I don't believe it when I hear it. So if somebody comes up to me after church on Sunday, like, you killed it on guitar, I'm like, but did I? Did I really? And it's not even like false humility. It's just like, but in that bridge, I definitely played a 5 instead of a 4. But nobody in the freaking congregation will hear it. And I mean, my worship leader will hear it because he's like a savant with all things music.
Yeah.
And he'll give me the little look when I throw in something weird. Yeah. And I'll get the little, huh? And I'm like, don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. I got this. But yeah, the knowing how you show love and how you receive love, and just the people in your circle, it's important. Like, it's come up in conversation, like with my worship team, because we spend a lot of time together, and it's good to know those people that you really care about. When they're having a bad day, how do you make their day better? Is it the person that you show up with a thing of cookies from Crumble? Is that going to make their absolute day? Or is it just a hug and say, you guys are killing it, like, you're doing great?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out. we've only been married since 2019, so it's been 4 years come next month. So it's really like TJ said, understanding what each other's love language is and how they like to receive love. Like Ashley today, I brought her home a like cinnamon roll, and oh my God, you would have thought like I bought her the moon. Like she was over the top excited about it. Like her whole attitude changed. She got energy. Aspen's the same way. You know, you give her sugar and she's off the wall. But
she still goes to sleep right away.
Yeah, she go right to bed.
We need to share Tony's meme on the page, by the way.
But she likes receiving small stuff like that. Anything that's sentimental and thoughtful. So like cards. She doesn't want, like, you could buy her a Louis Vuitton purse and she's gonna love it. But if you buy her a card from the store and you write a little note on the inside, she's gonna love that 10 times as much. She's like the cheapest person to buy gifts for, because that's what she loves the most. Is she loves anything that like has any meaning towards it. She's very sentimental. She's not so much as quality time, like sit down and watch TV or watch a movie, as she just wants you to like be in the house or in the room or in the next room from her, so she just feels safe. Where I'm like really like quality time. Like I want to sit down, I want to watch a movie, I want to watch TV, I want to go do something. Like I want to go to a nice restaurant. I want to go to a movie. Like I want to go do something. And mine's like quality time and physical touch, and hers is like physical touch and just knowing that I'm near.
Gifts, and not even gifts, but it's that
Just
like
the sentimental stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even like she's not very monetarily driven, so it's not like I give her $200 and she's over the moon. Like it's the stuff that like she's even said like for Christmas and birthdays she wants like cards instead of like gifts. So like I'll sit down with Aspen and she wants me to like sit down and like make her something homemade with the kids.
Yeah.
That's what she wants for Christmas. And that's if you just gave her a homemade card, she would be over the moon. So it's just learning each other's love language.
What blew my mind and this goes back to like the learning experience. I learned in like the last 2 years that a practical gift for my wife that falls in line with her dreams or what she loves is like the best thing. Because I was all about let's get her a purse, let's get her something like that. But when I bought her a professional KitchenAid, and for those of you who don't know, my wife is like a chef extraordinaire. She's got her like YouTube channel and her TikTok and stuff. She makes incredible food, caters for the church. But when I bought her her camera for her to record her YouTube videos and TikToks. And I bought her a professional grade KitchenAid mixer and like all the bells and whistles, the cheese shredder, the pasta roller, like all that stuff.
Wow.
That was one of those moments where it was like I gave her the moon because I believe in her cooking enough that I'm going to spend money on it. Like it's not the money that was spent; it's the belief in what she's worth investing in.
Yeah,
and that was an eye opener because it's like it can be a cheap thing. I can buy my wife like a set of spatulas, and that's like the best thing ever, or cute little measuring spoons. And it's not about the thing; it's about the reinforcement that I believe in her.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's not just like your love language between each other. It's again, it's how do you balance everything? Like we're still trying to learn how to focus on each other and focus on the children at the same time. Because how do you just leave the kids with your parents or leave the kids with whoever and just go away for 4 hours and not worry about them? That's her thing. Like she cannot not worry about the kids. And I guess it's getting into a groove to where it's more and more comfortable. And as far as your career, I don't think we push too hard into our careers. We do enough and we go beyond to provide a life for our children that we think they should have. But we're not working like 90 hours a week. Like we're not going to do that. We're still going to make sure
you're not a lawyer.
Yeah, we're not a lawyer. We're not a coal miner, like stuff like that. Like we're gonna be there for our kids. We're not gonna put ourselves in a position to where we're working so many days and or hours that we can't be there and see the moments with our kids. So you just you just gotta prioritize.
I was gonna say I think that'll be kind of what you said as far as like trying to how do you kind of summed up how do you date your spouse after you have kids. That'll be an episode for a later date because that's a whole topic and I want Abe to be here for that one too because I'd love for the guys that have been kind of through it to be
I think that would be a solid Alex one too because he travels a lot to work.
I'd love to have some other people on that episode because I think specifically Tyler and I won't have as much to say because we're still trying to we'll be figuring that out and
definitely me neither. I haven't worked a weekend in 8 years. I haven't worked an 8-hour day in 8 years.
Get out of here.
Like literally. So that's why I literally say I haven't. I was blessed with a job that I don't think I would have appreciated it had it not been such a desire in my heart to be home as much as possible. Because like it goes back to our podcast about who was your dad or who was your role models of that. I'm like, I always saw my dad as just a provider and I didn't want to just be that to my kids. I wanted to be a dad. I wanted to build the Legos. I wanted to go play in the backyard. I wanted to go do things and still provide. So, and that's not throwing any shade at people who have to work. Like I have union buddies who are working 12-hour days to provide for their family, and I get it, but I would struggle with that personally.
Have you guys have you guys ever had a situation come up where work kind of demands or asks so much of you, or it interferes kind of consistently into your family time or your marriage? And if so, how did you handle that?
Yeah, I had that with Toyota when I worked for Toyota, and how I handled that was I quit.
Attaboy.
But it's kind of funny because I had a fake job like TJ for quite a while, and it was really nice because after working the dealership hours, like I've mentioned before, like 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and then kind of recovering from that and taking a couple years off and just doing like a really mindless job where I could work like maybe 3 hours a day, and that was sufficient for a few years. It was super nice. Got to do my own thing, and had a really good balance with that. But then I found myself like super depressed because I wasn't utilizing any talents or anything like that. So I think I found a really solid balance right now with like it's not, I don't feel like I'm climbing the corporate ladder because we are a smaller startup, but I also get to work from home, and like I'm finding success while also on the flip side, I can handle a huge client issue, and then 2 seconds later I could be holding Evie and giving her kisses and stuff like that. So there's
Yeah.
there's there's that balance right there that I think is super awesome. But the problem with myself is that I'll get hyper focused on work, and I can't, like, I physically cannot take a break. Like, I'll just skip lunch, I'll skip breaks. I got an hour and 45 minutes a day that I can just do whatever I want. And I rarely take it because I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep going. But I realize, like, going back to the quality time thing, like it's actually hilarious to hear everybody say, yes, my wife's first thing is that quality time, like mostly. That's Marissa in a nutshell. And I never understood that really until I understood like that people people don't want to be loved always how I want to be loved. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
funny that it took me so many years to realize that. Um, and then so I started like looking into that and trying to just figure out like, okay, who is Marissa as a person, and how can I love her? And it's funny because there was just so much miscommunication early on in our marriage, and we're going on, this is our 13th year married. Um, there's just so much miscommunication early on in our marriage because like she shows love by acts of service. Like, she's not touchy feely or anything like that. I'm super touchy feely, like TJ said. I'm just like that. If she gave me a hug every single morning, like I would be set. I would be set every single day, and that's how I am. So it's definitely interesting. So I've had to stop myself and make sure that I take breaks at work and like go and visit with her, um and like today after work, I'm taking a break from kind of video games for a while and just making sure that when I get off work, I'm actually spending quality time with her and Evie and like sitting down. And tonight we just kept like setting Evie up, and then we'd be like, all right, walk to mommy. And she'd like walk and then like fall over. And we were just dying laughing. And Dom was at youth group and Mason was hanging out with us too. And we're all just like having a great time. And so I'm like learning, going back to our kids and their love language, I'm learning that like I'm learning Mason's love language, because I've always just assumed, oh, this kid is just a spitting image of me in every single way. But then I'm realizing like, no, 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 no. He's his own unique person with his own unique needs. And, it quality time matters to him quite a bit as well. So um still trying to figure out Dom, still trying to figure out, what his deal is, because it's definitely not words of affirmation. They had a pep rally at school, and he shot like 10 3 pointers in a row or something like that. Like, he just went wild. Like, he just went crazy with it,
Yeah.
and everybody was cheering him on and everything. And like, we found out through Mason, and Dom was like I was like, Dom, did you really do that? He's like, Dad, just stop. Like, he doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He just like, you know what I mean? It's just it's so interesting trying to like have those conversations with him. but he's a listener. So like I know that when I'm talking to him, he's listening, and the way that he shows his love is like he won't really say anything during the conversation, but later that night he'll come over, he'll give me a hug, and he's just like, "Dad, I love you." And he's 12, so it's just it means a lot to me that he's still like he still shows that affection and everything.
Yeah,
But
it's huge.
yeah, man. And then little Evie, her love language, dude, is just anytime that I cheer her on or smile at her or anything, dude, she's just got me. I'm almost convinced I'm having another boy because there's no freaking way I could handle another girl. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Like this little girl is just like constantly on my mind. Like, oh my god, I just love her to death. But
Yeah.
yeah, man.
For those of you who don't know, listening, Gordo announced a few weeks ago, or a few days ago, I can't remember. It was a few weeks ago, I think.
It was some
that
time ago.
that they're pregnant again and having another baby. So
Let's go.
Number 4, baby.
kid number 4 on the way.
Dude, we went to Red Robin. So speaking of like date nights, Marissa was like, I don't mean to embarrass you, babe. I love you. But she texted me the other day. We're like, because she texts me while I'm working, even though she's up in the other room, just doesn't want to like walk in if I'm in a Zoom meeting or whatever. She texts me. She's like, I need you to take me on a date ASAP. And I was like, we need to go on a date. Like it's been over 365 days since you and I have gone out. Like we haven't gone out since we've had Evie. And so yeah, we went to Red Robin, and I totally forgot she was pregnant. I'm like, babe, what do you? I grabbed the drink menu. I'm like, what? I'm like, let's get the same drink. Just being so corny. And she's like, what are you talking about? I can't drink. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yes, you can. It's like, babe, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, oh my god. So I've pretty much every day when I wake up, I gotta like set like a calendar reminder that we're having a 4th kid, because I don't know if that's normal or if I'm just like a terrible parent. But
No,
yeah,
it's normal.
it's like the 4th one. We're like,
It's
yeah.
the same thing I texted to Garrett this week, where it's like the people are only excited on your first kid, and then when you switch gender, you get the next gender child. After that, nobody cares anymore.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
And it kind of fits for you because you're like, oh, another kid, cool. I've done this before.
Yeah, dude. We're like, all right. What does 4 do over 3? I was like, well, I'm going to be spending a lot more time with Evie, but when Riss has the baby. But other than that,
it doesn't. 3 to 4 was not a big deal.
Yeah.
2 to 3 was slightly bigger, just because all of a sudden you're outnumbered.
Yeah.
And then 1 to 2 was big, but 3 to 4 was just like, oh, cool, just another kid.
It was so different with ours. I feel like it was so different because, like, I mean, we had the boys when we were 18 and 19 with Dom, and then 19 and 20 with Mason. So we had them so young that it was like, that was hard, but like we were young and had a ton of energy. We were just kids. So it seemed simple. But then having Evie, like, even though we were outnumbered, it was like in reality, we had like 2 more helpers. So, I mean, they're so good. Marissa always yells up the stairs to the boys. She's like, boys. So Evie couldn't say boys, so she calls them Boz. So she'll just like get out of the stairs and just be like, Boz, Boz. She said it today. She was like, boys, and yelled it up the stairs. And it's just so cute. They come running down, and she's just like super crazy and so excited. So they're really, really awesome with her. And I'm excited to see how they are with another little one. Yeah.
Garrett, I don't know if this is too far off topic, or if this would be a conversation for another time, or if we could get somebody who had kids later. Because from the sounds of it, all of us, with the exception of you, like my first kid was at 21 when my wife was 20. Yeah. And like we'd only been married like a year and a half, 2 years. And I think it's got to be different for people who got married and then waited like that 5 years to really engage with each other and solidify that husband and wife relationship before they became parents. I feel like all of us kind of got married and then we were parents. And I feel like some of the stuff that we learned slower because we became parents early. And I'm not saying that like that's a bad thing. It's just it would be an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah, I think it'd be that'd be good for a different episode. To get some guys on for that for sure. Because we got married, but then we will have had our kid like 2.5 years after being married. So we've had our kid pretty early on.
Yeah.
We could definitely talk about that because there's a just from analyzing it. I mean, there's definitely like I think we talked about it before. There's like a grieving process. Like you are going to, and it's not a bad thing. I don't say this meaning like you're going to resent. It's not resent at all, but you are going to grieve the time that you have right now. Like like this time right now where you and Kate are just hanging out. Like those are some of mine and Marissa's best memories while she was pregnant with Dominic. Like just we built like those are just like the core memories that I go back to
Yeah.
often. Just like we would sit there watch Teen Mom and just like just watch stupid shows and just enjoy ourselves and
Go for the weekend drive.
yeah,
Go see
yeah.
something.
And ours
With
was
no
only
diaper bag or anything.
yeah, yeah. And so then when all this stuff happens, it's like yeah, it is stressful, but it's you go through seasons in life and you guys will be just fine. It's super enjoyable. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, we had so much time before this kid, and then it's like it's so weird. Even the simple things like leaving the house, dude. You're like, wow, how is leaving the house so hard now? Like it just is. So yeah, just I think the way you just prepare for that is just be like, I'm okay with entering this season. Just be cool with it, and yeah, you guys are gonna be great parents though. So
Our plan is to just take it day by day.
yep,
Absolutely.
man.
There's no point in kind of stressing out and no point in stressing out and worrying about how things are going to work or what how are we going to do this or how are we going to do that or how are we going to make time for each other. Like we'll figure it out. Like we'll take each day by stride and we'll find our rhythms and what works for other people may not work for us and vice versa.
Yeah,
we're just going to have to just be adaptable and be flexible. And I think both of us being on the same page for that really helps. But
for sure, man. For sure.
It's weird that sometimes you have to plan to not plan. Like it's like you have to be prepared to be flexible. It's kind of an oxymoron, but it is absolutely true that if you overthink it, you're going to hate it. But if you underthink it, everything's going to stress you out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I just it's interesting because I don't know about your guys' parents, but like my parents, I came around. My parents had been married for 12 years before I came around.
Oh wow.
Jeez.
And like I can't even imagine that. I didn't want to start my family at 30.
Yeah.
Not even. And then once we had one, we were like, we want them all close together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
For our listeners, if you're wondering where Tyler went, he had to go take care of Aspen. She's not wanting to go to bed because she had Dr. Pepper probably 25 minutes ago. So, but no, Tyler's got some dad stuff to take care of, so he had to go. But yeah, I've had a situation recently where I kind of had to put my foot down with work. Where they're just taking up way too much time from my home life and from kind of outside interests that I like to do. And you guys, TJ and Gordo are pretty familiar with it because I've talked with you guys about it quite a bit. But I had a job. I don't want to call them out because I don't know if I'm friends with a lot of them on Facebook. I don't know if they listen to the podcast or anything like that. But I did have a job recently, and I don't want to throw them under the bus publicly. But just was asking way too much time of work and not wanting to honor any time off that I had put in formally, and taking like just taking advantage of some of the work policies that weren't set in place for time off. And we're trying to hold stuff against me that was like just not okay. And just I was working 60 plus hours a week. And I had to, it came to a point where that I kind of had to draw a line in the sand, and I was like, listen, like, this is not okay. And I want you to know that you're mistreating me, I'm mistreating my family because of it. And because of that, I have to leave. And I don't think that's got to be the end goal for every situation where work asks too much. But in my situation, that's what I had to do, was kind of draw the line and say, hey, this is enough is enough. So I don't know. I just know for guys, work is kind of something that we easily bury our head into when stuff at home isn't going great or whatever. Like, it's just easy to bury your head into work. And I just want to challenge whoever's listening that man, life is so much better than that. And there's so much more to live for than just burying your head at work, because at the end of the day, work doesn't care about you like you care about it, or so it may seem.
Yeah.
And it's about investing your time into your family and into your kids, and even yourself, making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So, but yeah. I think for me, prioritizing my marriage and my kids and my career looks different because we don't have, our kid isn't here yet. He'll be here in, man, at most 2 months, which is insane. But within a month or two, we'll have little baby Zeke here. But I think kind of game planning mentally, what is it going to look like for me to prioritize all three of them, and balance it per se. I was thinking about this question a little bit, and I was digging through my notes in my phone, and I actually had these sermon notes or message notes from our pastor from 2017 about, the title of his message was The Imbalance of Passion. And basically just talked about how people who change the world aren't balanced, they're passionate. And what draws your attention to people or your admiration to people isn't balance, it's their admiration, your admiration of their passion of things. And it's just about, it's not balancing about stuff, it's about what you're passionate about, because passion is a choice. You have to choose to be passionate about your marriage, you have to choose to be passionate about your kids, and you have to choose to be passionate about your career, but it's about how you prioritize those passions. So yeah, I think it's just prioritizing, and just, I think it's always on the forefront of my mind, like, how am I, if work starts getting heavy, get like a heavy workload, I'm just always thinking, and I guess it's just how I trained myself is, work's getting heavy workload, how am I going to make up for this at home? Like, how are we going to prioritize things at home? Like, are we going to try to put a date night somewhere on the calendar? Are we going to try to do this or do that, or do we need to like subtract other things from our schedule to make time for each other? That's kind of just, I don't know, I guess it's not like a be all for everybody. It's just kind of something that we've had to kind of learn as we go through the busy seasons of life, is how are we just constantly have it on our forefront of our mind of, things are getting busy in this area, how are we going to compensate for it? Or things are getting slower in this area, all right, let's take advantage of that. So I think you just always have to be, constantly thinking about it. And even if you're writing little notes in your phone, reminders of like, hey, you should take a date night here or whatever. Like, we try to live by the rule of every 2 weeks, we want to try to do a date night. Every 2 months, we want to try to do like a weekend getaway. And then every 2 years, we try to do like a nice vacation. Yeah. So we're constantly just trying to like, how can we prioritize our marriage? Because we know if our marriage isn't good, then the rest of us isn't good. Because our marriage is what's most important. And then I'm sure it'll be a whole nother dimension once we get kids involved in the mix and whatnot. But yeah, it's fun.
But like you said, it's all about that intentionality. Like, you built the good communication now, so that when you come around and you do have kids on, like, in the house, you still have the, maybe we're not maybe our date nights have changed from going out to eat to getting the kids put to bed and we're gonna just do something together,
Yep.
like that kind of stuff. It's all about the intentionality. And I will say that I struggled with that very strongly in like the first, I don't know, 5 years or so of our marriage, where, you're dating. It's very intentional. We're going to go out to eat. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do things together because that's where we get to spend our time together. Because then we're not at our parents' house or her parents' house.
Yeah.
But then you get into the marriage and you stop working that same way. And yeah, that intentionality is huge. And I'm glad that you have realized it faster than I did.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't say we learned it fast. I mean, we've only been married for 3 years, but this will be, I think, our 8th year together. So, I mean, and obviously we're not perfect, but, we really try to grow. One thing that we practice that we started doing early on, I don't know how it came up, but we kind of just gave each other the ability to just ask each other, like, what's one thing that I can focus on being better at, or what's one thing I can do better. And whatever they say, we aren't allowed to be defensive. So if I'm like, hey, Kate, what's one thing that I can be better at? What's one thing I can be working for to be better for you? And she says, you know what, like, you're on your phone too much. I'd really like if you would just put down your phone. I don't get to be like, well, work was asking about that, or, I was talking with the podcast guys about this, or like, no, I don't get to be defensive. I don't get to whatever. I say, okay, sounds good. I'll work on that.
Yep.
And it's just kind of opened our lines of communication to not overload each other with things that we can be working on or things that are annoying, but like kind of give each other like bite-sized pieces to work on. And thankfully we haven't had one of those moments in a while, but we probably should. And constantly just asking each other, like, hey, how can I be better for you? How can we communicate better? How can we how can we grow together better?
Yeah.
It's all about the communication and expectations.
Yeah.
Those are the two keys, honestly.
For sure.
That's definitely something I've been terrible at, is like relaying how I feel rather than just blowing up. So that's definitely something I've been working on, is like just relaying my expectations, and not expectations like, I expect you to complete this list by 9 p.m. Like, not like that, but just like,
Yeah.
hey, like, here's what I'm going to do to, support the family. And then, here is not like laying out what she has to do, but just like, here's what you do, here's what I do. And like, any way that we can help each other get better, we'll definitely communicate that. You know what I mean? So it's like, we have clear
Yeah.
cut expectations of what each of us are going to do. Like, she knows that from 9 to 6 every day, like, I'm going to be working. However, I will, when I break and come up there, like, that time is theirs. I try not to break that, for however long I'm taking a break for.
Yeah.
So it's definitely nice. We just communicate. We just say, hey, this is what we need. This is what we're feeling. It definitely helps. I mean, we have our blow ups. We've been together 13 years. So, like, we kind of know, like, here's just like a standard argument we're going to go through. We are going to, like, we love each other. And we'll even say that sometimes in the argument, like, I love you, but like, you're just really pissing me off right now. Like, just stop talking. And I have a really good tendency to piss people off. I'm pretty, probably like certified or licensed in it. So a lot of the time it's me pissing her off and then having to, you know, fix it after the fact. Um, but we're learning as we go. Even 13 years in, it's like every day that I look at her, I'm just like, man, I love you like the same. I love you way more than I did the first day I met you, but just like the feeling that I get is still there. And so that's just, it's not
Yeah.
that I'm going after that feeling. It's just, it's nice though to be like, man, I feel the same way about you now as I did when we were just young kids.
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, I'm just rambling on now. I'm just
You're
rambling on.
good,
We have
man.
to get way better. We're the worst with planning things, so we don't plan a lot. We just wing a lot. So if like we're feeling stressed, we're like, we just call my parents, "Hey, you guys watch the kids? All right, cool. We'll be there in 10 minutes." So we need to get better with planning. That's something we have to get better at. And I think I heard someone at work the other day say that they're like, what do you do? Like, I forget what it was. We were doing like an icebreaker for new hires, and it was something about somebody said that they go to a Brazilian steakhouse like every 2 weeks. So that like we
Good
get paid
God.
every 2 weeks. Yeah, we get paid every 2 weeks. But that's like her and her husband's thing that they do. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of money you make, but I'm not going to be. We're not. We're going to
Exactly.
probably be doing Red Robin. But that's what I thought of. I was like, that's actually a good idea. Like maybe every 2 weeks we just go out and get something to eat. I mean, we were out for an hour, but just like having that time where we could just focus on each other, and just
Yep.
we were
Yeah.
sitting there and we're like, we don't know what to do with our hands. It was like freaking Ricky Bobby, dude. We're like, we don't know what to do with our hands. Like we don't have kids. Like we just start sitting here and talking and like we're like, can we really wait 30 minutes for our table? And we're like, yeah, we can because we can just talk, and just it was cool, man. So it definitely was needed after a year of us just being like way too attached to our first daughter. And we're like, all right, it's time to break and you know put some prioritize each other again.
Yep.
Prioritize Jesus always, and then each other, and then the trickle down from there. So when you have that in the right order, everything works out way better. When it
Yeah.
starts, when it's the scale starts tipping a little bit, you can definitely tell, and it sends that little ripple effect. But yeah,
We
Did-
since Emily works from home and I get home by like 11 to noon most days, we've done the once a week we order Mexican food and we literally just eat a burrito on the freaking couch together. And like not in the TV room, we have the parlor with no TV. We just sit and do a date night at home. That's been ours because I can't afford a Brazilian steakhouse every 2 weeks. I wish I could. Then I'd be much larger than I currently am.
that'd be fun. I've only been to one Brazilian steakhouse and I wasn't too impressed.
Yeah, that means you didn't go to the right one.
Went to Texas Day, Brazil.
There's a place up here called Fogo de Chao, which is to die
We
for,
have-
and
We have one as well. I just haven't been there.
that place is bomb. But we only go there when the owner of my company comes into town, and he buys
Yes.
everything. And I think last time, the last dinner we had was like almost $1,800.
Oh my God! For how many people?
About 10 of us.
Oh my God! It's like you're having dinner at Salt Bay's
But
restaurant.
but if you break that down with drinks, that's only like 180 per person. So that's not actually
Yeah.
that bad.
I mean, it's expensive, but it's not like out of this world.
Yeah, it's not as painful because Em and I have definitely gone like a $200 dinner on, or a $250 dinner on just the two of us.
Yeah.
Which hurts every time because I look at him like, really,
Yeah,
really,
we do that every once in a while.
splurge.
Did you? Did you? I know we had texted about it. Did you want to talk at all about how to kind of prioritize your marriage over kind of serving at church?
We don't have to talk about it.
Okay.
But I'm fine with it. For me, I came from a church that was a very use, and abuse you kind of place. And I'm
in there.
kind of like what Gordo was talking about with work, that once I get into that mindset, that's all that's on my mind.
Yeah.
So if I'm not one of those people that like only gives like 50%, like I'm going to go 100% in. And because my love language is acts of service, I will feel beholden. So it was honestly what got me out of that was leaving that church, honestly. And now I go to a church that is very supportive of family, that we are first and foremost, like your family is first and foremost.
Yeah.
So that's a big balance. But at the same time, like we have rehearsals on Thursday nights. I spend time in the studio, either like recording parts for songs, or if I can, helping mix things. Like we put up YouTubes of events and stuff like that, and trying to learn to do that because I want to get better so that I can help more at the church.
Yeah.
But that's another one because I always connected being a good Christian with serving in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I would argue that you are called to serve and contribute to your local church. But if that is at the compromise of your godly position of being the head of your household, then I would say you are failing. And
Yeah.
that was a big moment for me where I was like, I can do all these good things in the church, but if I'm failing as a father and as a husband, then I'm failing in the most important thing God has entrusted me. He would rather me be a good father than me be a good guitar player.
Yeah.
So
when you say failing as a husband, is that something that you kind of internalize, have an internal moment where you go, oh crap, I'm failing? Or is that something that usually Emily will have to call you out on?
I feel it.
Yeah.
Because I've been married long enough to know when my wife is not both not happy or not fulfilled.
Yeah.
And those I can usually tell. And if I'm introspective enough, I realize, oh my gosh, I've been gone 5 of the last 7 nights, which means I get home from work. I get home around noon, and then I'm leaving to head to church at like 3:30. So my wife has me for like 2.5 hours. But in that 2.5 hours, I've also rehearsed 3 songs. I've been in ears in, freaking running through the interface.
Yeah.
And that's not really family time. I'm not contributing because my wife is trying to keep the kids out of the office while I'm practicing guitar because they just mess with things. So
Yeah.
I'm not there for the kids. I'm not helping her. I'm not there at dinner time, which is important. I'm not helping get them to bed. I'm not getting them into the bath. My wife pretty much becomes a single mother in those
Yeah.
circumstances.
Yeah.
And it's been balance, a lot of balance, and a lot of being a part of a team or a church that is very family focused, which has been huge and a huge answer to prayer for us.
Yeah.
But I do think there has to be balance, especially because to those of us, we're all fairly involved in church.
Yeah.
It's almost like a second job. And it
Sure.
can be 100% the best second job possible. But
Yeah.
it can also be very all consuming when you're a dedicated volunteer and you take it very seriously.
Yeah. I definitely have the same tendencies of you. Like the way that I best give love is acts of service as well. So when I'm not involved and I'm not spending time there, I feel like I'm not a part of the church, and I feel like I'm letting them down, or I feel like they don't want me, or like just all the mind games start going.
Yep.
And it definitely, I was in a very unhealthy place serving wise a few years ago, to where I found all my worth and found all my identity in what I was doing at the church. And I was so wrapped up in getting a job there and wanting to work there, and I didn't get the job, which thankfully they didn't give it to me because I wouldn't have been ready for it then. But I was devastated, and it was like almost a complete identity crisis. And thank God I had Kate to kind of help me walk through that. But since then, it was a long road to recovery, but like it's so worth kind of having that breakdown moment to get to a healthy place of knowing like how much time to serve, and making time for my family, and realizing that my family, like I can't serve the church if my family isn't doing well,
Yeah.
because the church, me serving, needs to be an outpouring of my life. And if my life isn't great, then like what am I giving the church, and what are they receiving? And so
I think
yeah.
Alex brought it up one time one time that he and I were just talking because I was kind of spilling my guts to him about this same issue. He's like, there are times with us who contribute strongly to the church that the church can become an idol. Like, not like our position or what we're doing has taken more focus than our walk with God. And that was like an eye opener. So I was like, I've definitely made it an idol. Like it is, I'm not there for God. I'm there to play guitar, or I'm there to be on stage and stuff like that. And that was a big moment where it's like, oh, gotta have your priorities right.
Yeah.
Like you said, it has to be an outpouring. If it's not, then you're kind of missing the mark.
Yeah. I always have to, almost every time before I accept like a request, I have to kind of recenter myself of what the bullseye is, because I don't want to go back to that place where it being unhealthy anymore. Well, hey, if you have any questions or topics that you want us to talk about, please reach out on Instagram or email, or if you just want to direct message any of us individually, we'd be more than happy to talk about whatever you guys want us to talk about. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please give us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on. I prefer Spotify, and Tyler somehow prefers Apple Music.
I prefer Apple Music.
Oh my God. Abe, you're the tiebreaker. Abe, if you're out there somewhere, dude, he's on aisle 5 in Kroger right now.
He's chasing down Goatman and Kroger.
Yeah, he is 100%.
Dude, I was so proud of there not being a single Goatman reference this entire podcast.
We almost made it. We almost made it.
You ruined it.
We almost did.
It's who we are at some point. It's who we are. We are Goatman.
Dude,
I'm excited for the day that Gordo comes out here and I get like a freaking phone call and he's like, hey man, I'm at SeaTac. I'm looking for Bigfoot. Can you just pick me up, drop me in the mountain?
Dude, I'm so glad you said that, because now I'm going to feel way less weird when I bring it up to you. So this is awesome, dude. This is great. Dude, for real though, like I would love to go looking for Bigfoot, but on the flip side, so it's funny because Ohio and then the Pacific Northwest and British Columbia are like the 3 top areas for Bigfoot. So like the problem is though, dude, is like I'm not gonna go out looking for this stuff because there's some other things. Like I'm not scared of Bigfoot. I don't want to see a freaking skinwalker, dude. Never. Never.
Dude, you get some
that
of those
gets into
old...
demonic territory, dude.
If I see a Wendigo, I'm out of there.
Dude. Yeah.
You get into some of those old, like, I think it would be Native American stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I've heard a few.
Those will keep you up at night.
Dude, I live, yes. And I live in a heavily Native American, like, I wouldn't say burial grounds, but you've got to imagine there's some burial grounds. I live in Arrowhead Beach. All of our street names are Indian, and like this is Lake Erie was heavily populated. I looked it up some time ago, but anyways, if you guys ever heard of the they call them Native American burial mounds. But anyways, there's a whole conspiracy around it that they're actually mounds from the giants built like these mounds, and like they're buried in them and all this interesting stuff. So yeah,
I think we wrap up the podcast and then we keep this going.
All right. Until next time.
I'm Cameron. Wait, hang on. Let me redo that. I'm Cameron. I'm Gordo.
I'm TJ.
And I'm Garrett.
By the way, Tyler's first name is actually Cameron. He goes by Tyler. So that's who Cameron is.
He has two first names too.
He does.
But one of them's his middle name. I assume.
We don't know at this point. We haven't seen a birth certificate. We haven't even verified if he's really Tyler or Cameron.
My middle name is also his first name.
Yeah. He could be AI for all we know, dude. That's how the AI is going to get us. They pose as Tyler or Cameron. This is it, dude.
All right. Well, remember that being good enough isn't the goal. The goal is progress over perfection. Let's all try to be a little bit better this week than we were last week. You got this. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, buddy. On your dad.